it was like there was a drop off and then Anthony took off. But at one point, and for most of the time, they were neck and neck.
So is that your type? Looking at them, they have a similar physical appearance.
Do I like muscles? Yes.
Yeah, they're both shaped very well.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. And then they're both dark skinned.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd say that they're both maybe around the same height.
Actually, Anthony's probably about 5'10", 5'11".
Okay.
So he's a little taller.
Okay. Mm-hmm. So is that like kind of or was there any significance to the relationship of the way these men were as far as what you would date in real life?
As far as looks, yeah.
Okay.
So you mentioned it. Yeah. I do like brown skin. I like all shades.
Yeah.
Like now it's like all shades. But I love a man who takes very good care of himself, takes good care of his body. I love tall men. I love men who are well groomed. You see a man in his face is shiny, like he takes care of his face, his beard. Like I'm into all of that.
So when you came home back to Houston, because you guys made a decision to leave the show together as a couple,
mm-hmm.
And that was nice to see that there was a connection made. And then we saw that on the reunion, it didn't continue. So how long before you got home and realized this isn't going to work? And did you guys have that conversation like, hey, this just isn't going to work. We could be friends.
It's so crazy because, when we left and we were going through the airport together, we were like just totally enamored, and I am not.
Oh, how cute!
Like we, giggling, holding hands.
Oh my gosh!
Going through the checkout together. He's very much a gentleman. And so the flight back was, all giggles and smiles for all four of us. Because remember, Adriana and Calfani
mm-hmm.
were on the same flight with us going back. So it was all like beautiful and everyone was all giggly and
living in the bubble was beautiful.
It was.
Yeah.
So when we got back, we had kind of this urgency, like I just need to see you. Like,
yes.
And it was only a few times into us hanging out, like we were like, okay, this might not be the best look.
Huh. So Ready to Love season 4 is now filming in Houston, and it's a little bit different than the bubble, the resort that you guys were living in, whereas they are able to talk on the phone,
and home at night.
Yeah. And have those meaningful connections kind of build. You guys were every day in the same place and just kind of like, revolving activities maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that the relationship could have been different if you were at home and kind of building up that, rapport with each other?
You know what? I can't even fathom having to be at home and do this show. Like, I don't feel like I would have been fully engaged.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because if I got my regular life that I'm going home to and I'm only shooting on nights and weekends,
mm-hmm.
like this would be kind of like my hobby.
So you did enjoy the resort.
I thought it actually helped us to like fully immerse in the process.
Yeah. Watching the resort was probably one of my favorites because I know that there was backlash about, just the way the resort was. We couldn't see any of that, but it looked like you had an advantage because you are together all the time. You are building up something. Yeah. You don't have any outside distractions, mm-hmm. and you're in a beautiful place where you can relax and just spend that quality time that you probably wouldn't have as opposed to being at home. I think of The Bachelor,
mm-hmm.
and that's what I thought of when I thought of Ready to Love on the resort.
Yeah. And there's nowhere to go. Mm-hmm. Like when you're on the resort, there's no way for you to check out. There is like, you're there.
Mm-hmm.
So you're going to make connections. You're going to talk to people, or you're going to go home. So I almost, some people feel like, oh, it's an advantage that they get to go home at night. I think, no, it might have been an advantage that we had total seclusion from our job, from our families. Like, it was just us and our castmates.
It would have been for me, it would have been the perfect environment to be in to build a relationship, to be honest with you. I would have been so excited to just be away from everything, be in that little honeymoon bubble.
Right.
So when it didn't work out between you and Anthony, did you circle back around to Jay or Edwin to see what was going on with them?
Then I circle back.
Like, let me
Love
check
that.
back on y'all. Let me see.
Let me see if let me test.